So, hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 64554633728. And somewhat controversial topic. But why do Christians want babies to go to hell? I don't understand it, but clearly they are setting babies up to go to hell. And I'll get into that in a second. For anybody wondering, I used to be Roman Catholic for a long time. I'm no longer Roman Catholic. I have a master's in business administration, a computer science degree. I have a background in the Army Reserves. I've traveled a bit. I exercise a lot. Lost a bunch of weight. Quit smoking. I still drink. I like drinking. And that's it for me. Anyway, why is it that Christians seem to have it out for babies? And you might be wondering, what the hell am I talking about? I mean, this doesn't make any sense. Well, many Christians, and obviously this is not something that would have been in the Christian doctrine from the beginning of time, because abortion was not a strong possibility, at least not a safe, strong possibility. In the past, it's only in the modern age that abortion is possible. And even then, as far as I know, Christianity was not initially against abortion. That was something that just came to be, as far as I see from Wikipedia. I can't really say why. It doesn't really make sense. But let me just dive right into it. If a baby is aborted, they go straight to heaven. That's it. They never committed any sin. That's not how, you can't send somebody who's never committed any sin to hell. So that's what happens. The baby goes, according to Christian doctrine, they go to heaven. But if a baby, a fetus, is born and becomes a human being, the Christian doctrine is that the path to heaven is wide and broad, and the path to heaven is difficult. It's really difficult to get into heaven, and the path to hell is wide and broad, and it's paved with good intentions. So if you are a baby and you want to send, you want a good opportunity to get into heaven, the best way for you to do that is to have never been born, because you have a guaranteed way to get to heaven, or a way that is a very, very low probability chance of getting to heaven by being born and using your free will to make the choice to go to heaven. So, the only way that it makes any sense, if you want as many people to go to heaven as possible to achieve, well, not the only way, but the most likely way, is if babies never get born. If they just are conceived, and just before they're going to be born, before they can commit any sins, they die and they go to heaven. Or if not heaven, limbo. Or just basically not going to hell. That seems like, to me, to be a sound plan if you want the best for everybody. And, I'm talking about hell and heaven. But the thing about it is that if having a child were easy, if you could make that easy for married women, for single women, for teenagers, teen pregnancy has dropped, by the way, all over the place, all over the world. If you could just make having a baby fun, then everybody would want to have a baby. So why isn't it that Christians just don't make having a baby fun. Make it a great thing that everybody wants to do. That seems like it's a lot easier. Well, it actually isn't a lot easier. Actually, it's a lot more difficult, because then you have to actually take care of a living human being. The other way, you just have to tell people what to do. That's really easy. Don't do that. Do that. That's actually a lot easier. It's not going to be successful because people don't like being told what to do. So, like in the US, but that's the reverse. There are many places where abortion is being legalized. Like in Ireland, I think they had a vote recently to legalize abortion. Argentina, I think, recently had a vote for that. I think it was Argentina, between Argentina and Peru, probably. So, and in other places, as time passes, places that are predominantly Catholic places, so maybe former USSR states might also be involved in changing the laws in some of those respects, like Poland, for example. I don't know how far along they are, I can't recall. But yeah, in the US, Christians in the US, there's already laws that allow abortion, but in different states, Republicans are trying to make it harder for people to have access to services like abortion. They're trying to close down abortion clinics and so on. And, as the title of this video says, that isn't helping anybody to get to heaven. And it's just overall, on the whole side, that side of the aisle with respect to Republicans and Christians, on the one hand, you want as many babies to be born as possible, because you don't want to have kids learn about sex. So they're not going to be knowledgeable that you can get pregnant the very first time you have sex. They're not going to be aware of that. They're also not going to have access to prophylactics, to devices that can prevent conception. Because number one, even if they had it, they're not going to know how to use it properly, like how to put on a condom properly, because Christians don't want people to do anything except abstain. So here it is, you don't know anything about sex, you're supposed to abstain, but God has already made sex pleasurable, so that's why it's pleasurable. It's pleasurable so that people are going to try to do it. So there's this thing that people like to do, that you're going to tell them, hey, just don't do it. And then if they do get pregnant, it's like, no, you're not allowed to terminate the pregnancy. Yeah, as opposed to get rid of the child. You're not allowed to terminate the pregnancy. You have to bring the child to term. But we are not going to help single mothers raise their kids. We're not going to do that. And we are not going to help them earn a living wage by increasing the minimum wage. We're not going to do that, because that's going to hurt them, because it's going to reduce the amount of jobs that are available. So they're going to only be able to basically earn less money than is necessary to survive, because they can earn almost nothing. They can have slave wages if you are not interested in having a minimum wage, which is something that many Republicans are interested in, not having a minimum wage. So you can potentially earn almost nothing. You might not know anything about sex. You have no recourses to prevent sex. You have no recourses to, terminate your pregnancies. And there's no not a support system, because Republicans are always talking about the welfare state, and people shouldn't be looking for handouts. So it's just, many Christians, I don't know if they really want to have a hell on earth, because everything seems to be pointing to making life as difficult for people as possible. It's just, I don't understand why people would just pick like a whole bunch of policies that make life difficult for people and like say, yeah, that's what we want. We want all the difficult things. There's no regulations, so your employer can fire you at will with no reasons. He can potentially pollute the environment without any restrictions whatsoever. He can reduce the amount of taxes that the government takes in to do anything. So the government is as weak as possible and as small as possible, because the government is the problem. I don't know how that system does anything but make life absolutely miserable for people, especially people at the bottom, but everybody eventually, because if you have a system that is like that, it's like a civilization ending system where you have no recourse to anybody because the government is weak. They can't control businesses. The businesses can do anything that they want. They can pay you anything that they want. They can use and abuse you as much as they want. You have no recourse. You have no help coming from the government. You're having as many kids as your body can literally tolerate, because you don't know any better and you don't have access to health care, proper health care. I don't know. But yeah, aside from that, it really does seem, even from a religious point of view, that Christians, who are, a lot of American Republicans and in other countries, don't seem to have heaven as a, or have wanting a desire to maximize the number of people going to heaven, because that would be like just pile up on kids and have abortions. So yeah, I'm sorry, this is a divisive topic. Feel free to give me your opinion. Maybe you can tell me how birthing kids who most likely are not going to go to heaven is a help to anybody. So feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, any of all of those things. And yeah, but pretty much the same way that you would like it if somebody were giving feedback to something that you had done. Have a good one. Peace.